Friday, August 2nd, 2024. It will be the third anniversary of when this tragedy occurred. When you report to the jail that way, and it's all that I can do, those two young ladies will have to be remembered on that date. Court does call the case of the people versus John Torres.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Patricia Reiser on behalf of the people.
Good afternoon, Judge. Joshua Van Lawn on behalf of Mr. Torres, who's present to my right. Sir, can you tell the judge your name, please?
John Torres.
All right. And you had previously reviewed the pre-sentence report. We've been here a few times.
That's correct, Judge. No additions, deletions, or corrections. We've talked about those already.
All right. And there's nothing else you'd like to say?
No, Judge. What I would indicate is the court has given us plenty of opportunity to think about this case, figure out how we want to proceed. We won't be withdrawing the plea. We'd like to go forward, and we rely on the prior statements that were made. Sad case. It just is.
All right. Both moms are here, I think. And ladies, I know you've had also an opportunity to address the court, but is there anything else you'd like to say to the court?
No.
No? All right. Let me just say this, and in part, I will say this to the victims' families. One of the things that I promised you more than anything else is that I don't think it was the last hearing, but the hearing before, is that sometimes there can be a feeling that you're not heard. And the one thing that I promised to you is that at least as far as this judge, you would be heard. I would listen to you in your position. And I believe at the last hearing that I laid out that I'd looked at additional things prior to the sentence. I will also say that I have quite a hefty caseload in things. This is one of those cases that weighs very heavily on the court. In a lot of ways, because as I sit here, you always are trying to do the right thing. Both in terms of any victims and their families, as well as in terms of the defendant. And sometimes it's very difficult to reconcile that, to come up with and fashion something that can in one way make sense, and in another way allow everyone to, but particularly the victim's family, to have some closure to the tragedy. I can't bestow upon you, can't give to you in any way absolute closure, because some of that comes with time. Some of it, frankly, and it's a hard place to get to, comes with the notion of forgiveness. As I indicated before, and let me, rarely do I take people through my entirety of my thought process, and I won't share it all, but I'll share these parts. That day, all of those involved had certain responsibilities. And I'm not, and believe me, folks, I'm not trying to blame anybody necessarily. One of the things with drivers is, and it's, I think anybody that's a parent, when their child begins to drive, probably one of the hardest things to explain to them is that they have a certain responsibility when operating that vehicle to always have that vehicle under control. In a lot of ways, regardless of the circumstances, you have to have that vehicle under control. And then by the same token, you also explain to them that should something happen, regardless of what the circumstances are, you don't let your emotions or what we commonly might know of as road rage sort of take over and allow and do.
This sentencing begins with a courtroom carrying the weight of a tragedy that cannot be undone. John Torres is before the judge, while the victim's family sit nearby, waiting to hear what the court will decide. The judge makes it clear that he has listened carefully and understands how deeply this case has affected everyone involved. But as he explains his reasoning, the situation becomes more complicated. He talks about responsibility, road rage, and the devastating consequences of decisions made in a moment. Then he reveals something even more personal. This case has been weighing heavily on him.
Things that, quite frankly, in the grand scheme of things, make absolutely no sense. That's the problem I have, quite frankly, with you, Mr. Torres, is that you did something that didn't make any sense to me. Because it's almost like that road rage circumstance where all of a sudden you're, I think, causing this thing to happen. By the same token, and I say this with all respect to the family, I think you know how I feel about you guys. The young ladies in that car then have that other responsibility that I'm talking about, that you pray to your kids that they'll pay attention to, that they keep that vehicle under control regardless of anything else, that they just drive and do things safely. Reality is that at times when these things are going on, people aren't thinking. And then they're saying things one way after the fact, and that may not match up with something. Doesn't make any sense in a lot of ways. I wish, I wish that the powers that come to me to be able to impose a sentence, if I could just put everybody back, that would make me the happiest. But I can't, and I know I can't. That is the greatest frustration. I also know that I could follow this recommendation to the letter, impose the jail time 45 days from now, outside of the probationary period, when Mr. Torres walks out of the jail. Nothing's changed. Nothing. And so, in that respect, what have we really done? What I don't want more than anything, and this may be a sort of weird way of doing it, but I don't want those two young ladies ever forgotten. That's what I don't want. Whether they send them to jail, don't send them to jail, I don't want them forgotten. Those were two vibrant lives that given all the circumstances that day, are no longer with us. And so I hope the family can understand what I'm about to do and can appreciate it. I'm not sometimes when people look up at the robe and everything else, they think we always have the answers to everything, and I don't. I freely admit that. But I just do the best that I can with what I have in this. And when I boil it all down, I don't want your daughters forgotten. It is therefore the sentence of the court. You are placed on the maximum probation that I can sentence you to, which is 24 months probation. I'm going to increase the fines and costs in this case, and you are to pay $1,555 fines and court costs, $720 probation oversight fees. When can that be paid?
Today.
That's to be paid today. There is to be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You are to complete a driver improvement course as directed by probation. I'm going to order that you complete 100 hours of community service with proof to probation.
The judge now reaches the hardest part of the sentencing. He admits that no amount of jail time can bring the two young women back, and he questions what punishment can truly accomplish after such a devastating loss. Then comes the emotional turning point. He says he does not want the victims to ever be forgotten. Their families may never receive complete closure from a courtroom, but the judge wants their lives remembered. With that in mind, he makes a decision that goes beyond simply following a recommendation. Torres receives maximum probation, financial penalties, community service, and jail time, but the most significant part of the sentence is still coming.
I'm going to order that the defendant, I'm going to order 90 days in jail, credit 1 day served. The defendant will serve 45 days of this sentence, but that serving of those 45 days will not begin immediately. The defendant is ordered to report to the Washtenaw County Jail on Friday, August 2nd, 2024. It will be the third anniversary of when this tragedy occurred. When you report to the jail that way, and it's all that I can do, those two young ladies will have to be remembered on that date. The remainder of the sentence is suspended. I will tell you, Mr. Torres, if you do not follow my orders in this sentence to the letter, those other 45 days will be served by you. Am I understood?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Why don't you guys wait until let them leave and let them wait for a moment.
As your phone is present, grab his finger.
Just give them a minute to get down the hallway. Everybody else I trust. I don't trust the guy on the end. And you know why. I don't forget anything. Sorry, folks, it's best I can do. I tried.
Judge, that fine was 1,055 or?
I kicked it up to $1,555. Again, it doesn't do much, but at least make it hurt a little. So it's a signed copy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You all set? Oh, he's at the counter. Okay. All right. You guys take care of yourselves. No, go ahead. You can go. Just behave yourself.
Yes, sir.
You guys take care.
It was supposed to be a routine sentencing. But nothing about this case was routine. John Torres stood before the court in Washington County, charged in connection with the deaths of two young women, two vibrant lives, suddenly and violently gone. The courtroom was heavy. Both mothers sat in the gallery. The air was thick with grief that no sentence could ever truly heal. The judge, calm, measured, but clearly carrying the weight of this moment, spoke directly to the victims' families first. He made them a promise early on, you will be heard. And he meant every word. Before delivering his sentence, the judge did something rare. He walked the courtroom through his own mind, his doubts, his frustrations, his moral conflict. He admitted openly that no sentence could give these families absolute closure. He said the word most judges never say in court, forgiveness. Then came the bombshell. Rather than simply following the prosecution's recommendation, the judge crafted something more personal, more painful. He sentenced Torres to 24 months maximum probation, increased fines to $1,555, ordered 100 hours of community service, and imposed 90 days in jail, with 45 days to be served. But here's where the courtroom went completely silent. The judge ordered Torres to report to Washington County Jail on Friday, August 2, 2024, the third anniversary of the tragedy. Not a random date. Not a convenient date. The exact day those two girls died. Those two young ladies will have to be remembered on that day, the judge said quietly. No explosion. No drama. Just devastation, delivered in one sentence. The remaining 45 days were suspended, pending full compliance. The message was clear, these girls would not be forgotten. Not by this court. Not on that date. Not ever. Speech balloon. Do you think this sentence was justice, or did the defendant get...
The sentence is finally revealed, and the judge makes an unusual decision about when Torres must report to jail. The date is not random. He orders Torres to report on August 2nd, 2024, the third anniversary of the tragedy. The judge explains that this is his way of ensuring the two young women are remembered on that exact day. Torres is also warned that violating the court's conditions could activate the remaining suspended jail time. After the formal sentencing, the judge's private comments revealed just how heavily this case affected him. And the final question is left to viewers. Was this justice, or did Torres get off too easily? If you enjoyed this courtroom breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next video.